And this will be a sixth meeting between these two players. Of the previous 5, Kento Momota has won the last 4, including the last time, which was the final of those Asia Championships. It was 3 games, but it was very one-sided in the deciding game. 21-8 in favour of the world champion. It was an hour and 10 minutes, though, and it was a fascinating encounter. I watched that one. And for these two men, well, for SHI Yuqi, a chance to secure a 3rd point, a winning point for China to lift an 11th time. For this man, Kento Momota, he has an extraordinary record across previous Sudirman Cups and Thomas Cup campaigns. He, as you will see, was selected for 3 ties here in Nanning. He's won all 3 matches. He's never lost a match in Sudirman Cup, and this is his 3rd Sudirman Cup campaign. He's never lost a match in Thomas Cup. So across those 2 competitions, he's played 17 matches. He's won all 17. His quarter-final here, it was the 3rd match when he beat Li Xia and secured the victory in the quarter-final. It was once again the 3rd match, but it was at 1-1 in the semi-final against former champions Indonesia, and he beat Anthony Ginting in 2 straight games. His opponent, SHI Yuqi, has only been selected for 2 ties, but like his opponent here, throughout his campaign, he has not lost a match. On the very first day of competition on Sunday evening, he played against Malaysia and beat the hugely talented Li Xia in 2 straight games. Then wasn't selected in the second of the group matches against India. That was Chen Long. Chen Long was selected once again in the quarter-final against Denmark, and Chen Long actually lost to Victor Axelsen. But SHI Yuqi was selected once again for the semi-final yesterday morning against Thailand. It was the 2nd match on, and he beat Guntapong Wangchalon, saving 4 game points in that 2nd game before winning it 26-24 in 55 minutes. Well, Morten, you watched that China-Thailand semi-final.
Yes, I did.
SHI Yuqi looking sharp for that? Or not as sharp as you've seen it?
He played a very good first game, I think, and was in control. But the Thailand player, Wangcharon, really picked up very nicely in the second, and as you said, had game points. But I also think that SHI Yuqi had quite a few match points, sort of 4 or 5 match points as well, so he was evenly spread out.
Wayana from Indonesia, our umpire for this one, and Christian Johannesson of Denmark, the service judge.
But there is no doubt that if SHI Yuqi is going to win this match, he must play better than what he played against Thailand.
Well, there's no doubt that Kento Momota needs to win this match to keep the final alive.
That's for sure.
What a great scenario.
It is.
Never been beaten across 17 previous Sudirman Cup or Thomas Cup matches. The reigning world champion. That's phenomenal, isn't it?
I don't think many can say that.
Ah, it's just extraordinary.
That's right.
Well, court attendant needed to mop up the perspiration from that thrilling women's singles encounter before this men's singles gets underway.
Ladies and gentlemen, on my right, Japan, represented by Kento Momota. And on my left, China, represented by SHI Yuqi. Japan serve, Logo, play.
What's the delay there?
Play.
Somebody using a flashlight, I suspect.
That's usually the case.
That's good judgment.
The only time SHI Yuqi won against Momota was at the World Tour finals in December last year, and the way he won it, he just came out as a rocket in that first game and really were playing a very, very fast game. And I suspect that's what he's got to do again in order to upset Momota in this rhythm.
Oh yes, that's nicely done. Kento Momota. Oh, that's in. That's a beauty.
Yeah, this should help to settle the nerves for SHI Yuqi.
Chen Long.
Yeah, that's Chen Long cheering on. But I think this long rally is obviously getting the nerves out of the system and should really help to settle in.
There's good placement of the smash.
5-1.
Body attack. Look at that. Oh yes.
The shot from Momota is getting too short. This one is too short. Too many options there for Yuqi. It's forcing Momota to really take a chance on what side to choose. That's not close.
taken it.
This is not how to beat Momota.
What, the running game?
I'm not saying the running game, but if he's playing like this, it's a comfortable pace for Momota. And he can just keep it going forever in this pace. So it's okay to run with him, but it's got to be much faster than this, or you've got to attack him now and again to unsettle his defense. But just playing like this, he's not going to win.
You were at the Indonesian Masters at the start of the year when Anders Antonsen from Denmark beat Momota in the final. Is that what he was doing? Was he changing up the pace the whole time?
He was changing up the pace the whole time. When he was attacking, then suddenly he was standing at the net, the follow-up, and killed the follow-up. And really unsettled the rhythm of Momota.
Good smash. SHI Yuqi. Nice idea, but ambitious.
Probably suspecting Momota to follow up on the straight one, therefore he's choosing to go cross court.
Oh, strings went for the acute angle. Broke the strings of his racket, which is almost certainly why he made the error.
He was quite disappointed with himself, wasn't he?
Oh, that's a super smash. And that's the attacking play you were talking about that he has to employ if he wants to win this.
Yes.
And that was a body attack very early on.
Yeah, but that's typical Momota. He's not going for the big guns. He is playing really strong basic game, waiting for his opportunities, and so often he's completely living on the mistakes from the opponents.
Super. What a good run.
Service over. 9-6.
no time at all after playing that backhand.
This is one of the few times when Momota is actually trying to go cross-court, and perhaps there's a reason why he's not going so much cross-court, as he missed this one. Once again, we see Momota play a very patient game, not really trying to do much, just keep it in, keep it going, play safe. And he is getting quite an easy error here from SHI Yuqi.
Good block. To the mid-game interval, the world champion Kento Momota with a 3-point advantage.
I think this was really nice to see from Momota. Not often we see him do that anymore. He really plays it safe. But this time he was out of the box and up on the net on the follow-up.
就是啊，在斗的过程就是说，我们怎么打你，我就照着打你。对，哎，不着急的，哎，你看稍微给他给他，他也不敢打，他这个跑嘛，来嘛，对不对？好，这个要注意啊，精力要讲。
It was interesting to me the quick follow-up that you talked about just before the mid-game interval. Once again, came off what I would call as a half smash.
Yeah, good placement though.
Yeah.
But yes, it was on a half smash.
11-8.
It's not so often we see him commit 100% as what he did there.
Oh, that's just unlikely. Not often you see SHI Yuqi just left stranded.
No, not only stranded, completely stranded. But as I mentioned earlier, this is really the kind of pace where Momota feels extremely comfortable. He's not under pressure, he can just place his shots around and wait for whatever opportunity or even a mistake from the opponent. Anos Antonsen did in January in Indonesian Masters, really attacking the net and making these changes of pace.
Yeah, because you normally think of Momota as beautiful touch at the front of the court, so you don't get a lot of opportunities to really take the net away from him. That was a lovely follow-up from SHI Yuqi.
Very successful yesterday again with the same approach at SHI Yuqi. These reverse shots as and when he's coming in is really paying off nicely. And what an exchange here. First, Momota tight, got it back here by Yuqi. And covered the net nicely.
Disappointing for SHI Yuqi after working so hard in the rally. Yeah, it's really wide.
Wipe the pot. Wipe the pot, please. Thank you.
Oh, that's right. Oh, challenge that. I was about to say that's right into the corner.
Yes.
Well, he's just saying to his coaches it was that far in.
It's way in, according to Momota. And if he's right, thank God for Hawkeye.
You're right, Morgan. Thank goodness for Hawkeye.
Play.
Good recovery there by Yuqi.
Well, they thought about it, but it stayed his side of the net.
16-11.
But this is a wonderful lift by SHI Yuqi. Good length from a very difficult situation.
This man. it's just long. I don't think Momota meant to leave that.
No, he couldn't take it.
11.
Once again, it was slightly reversed, the approach from SHI Yuqi. It was pushed long.
5 straight points for Momota, though. That's wide. Make that 6 straight points.
19-11.
Oh, that's super. What great skill. That's twice SHI Yuqi has been left absolutely stranded. So on a run of 7 straight points, a whole host of game point opportunities for Momota.
So far, the man in the picture hasn't got the game to really damage the world champion.
Yeah. 2 early attacking shots, last 2 rallies from SHI Yuqi.
20.
Into definitely one of Momota's trouble spots, that backhand side of the net when the attack is coming very steep. This is where he's usually on all 4 to get them, and of course find it tricky to control from a situation out of balance.
Well, 3 game points have come and gone.
20.
Four game points have come and gone.
15.
And it's not going to happen.
We're not going to think the unthinkable.
Nope, it's not going to happen.
No, you're right, Morton. 21-15 opening game to Japan and Kento Momota. 24 minutes. Well, the opening game. And Momota looking good at the moment.
いいラリーよ、いいラリーよね。ところどころガッツって打つのはいいけど、いいと思いますね。で、それプラスやっぱラリー相手嫌がってるからさ。そこでね、途中からさラウンドクロスキル使った桃田がさ、それはすごくいいと思う。相手と山入らなかった。ラリーで勝負じゃラリーだ。すぐ攻撃よりは。ね。今上からの。
Once again, we see these wonderful slow motion pictures.
这是这样。拉谁让你拉？小大发在拿一下以我为主，你的东西上看一下，对不对？包括往前是能看你的嘛。
20 seconds.
啊
20 seconds.
Of course, I don't know what it was all about in the Chinese camp there, but somehow I felt that perhaps there was a little bit of a difference in opinion there
Second game.
between coach and player.
Long all. Play.
Yeah, good start by SHI Yuqi.
Service over. 1 love.
Ah, that's two sloppy shots there from Momota. Oh, that's a super angle.
And that's where this shot to the backhand side of Momota shows how effective it is, because this is definitely, this spot here is where Momota has got a little bit of weakness.
Oh, it's called good. He's challenging.
Kento Momota challenges for 8.
I think that was awfully close.
It is very close.
Wipe the
Too
clock.
close for us to call, in my opinion.
Well, I always get it wrong anyway. Here we go. What does Hawkeye say?
In.
Really, it's a wasted challenge by Momota.
Challenge unsuccessful. 1 challenge remaining. 4 love. Play.
Well left. Good judgment. And this is a fabulous start by SHI Yuqi here in the second game. What a good response.
Love.
Oh, the challenge here. I saw that as in.
Yeah, me too. He's got to use his challenges very wisely, Kento Momota.
Caught the line. Well, I didn't think it was that close. But it was indeed in.
8. Service over. 1-5. Play.
course, the short lift by the quality net shot. Yeah, well, oh, it's called out. I was just about to say, well taken.
Yes, good anticipation there by Momota, seeing that chances were for that drop shot, and he moved forward.
This is very, very good attacking play. And Morton, I don't want to jump ahead of myself,
No.
but of the previous 5 meetings between these two players, twice it's gone to 3 games, and both times it's been won in 3 games by Momota. Whenever it's gone the full distance, Momota has won, which incidentally, we had the similar statistic yesterday with Momota against Anthony Ginting. 5 times it's been to 3 games, all 5 times won by Momota.
Yeah. But the game he's playing, he is wearing your opponent down. And I can understand that he's got good statistics when it comes to the fact when it goes to 3 games.
That's a good shot.
Service over. 3-10. Wipe the ball. Thank you.
SHI Yuqi with an 8-point advantage.
He is much, much more proactive now and much more seeking initiative.
フォアストレートロブは高さはいいと思うんですけど、フォアクロスロブ少し低いからです。そこでスマッシュはすぐ返っていうか、ね、フォアクロスロブの体ね。で、点数開いたけど、ここしっかりさ、ラリーしても簡単にこのゲーム上げないでしょ、こっちにしてもね。
1ゲームは相手が攻撃タイミングができなかったですけど、今は攻撃タイミングができるから、だから今自分がディフェンスゲームじゃないで、もうちょっとラリーゲームでいってよ、ラリーゲームちょっとタッチちょっと早めに。
さあ、ここは大事にしますからね。ここは大事に。
Will take a huge effort from Kento Momota to turn this second game around. And if anybody can do it, he can do it.
Yeah, he was 16-6 down against Axelsen in a match not long ago. Came back and won it, 21-18.
Oh, yes.
SHI Yuqi should really spend his energy on trying to play fast, not going for the big 100% smashes, but go for these half smashes, very steep angles to the sides of Momota here, and then of course when opportunities as this arises, then go for the big smash. Then focus a lot on getting early at the net. Like that one, get in there very early at the net. That's where he should focus all his energy.
34.
Well, it looks almost certain as if we will be treated to a third and deciding game.
I like the smile on your face.
What, how many times have I got that wrong? You'd think sometimes I'd learn.
If you consider how many matches have you been calling, you know, in all honesty. Sometimes you get burnt.
Yeah. That's good judgment. In fact, I'm really not convinced that Momota should even try for this second game because, you know, it's virtually impossible. Save yourself for the third. You want to win the match.
Yeah. But unless it's a purpose for him to try to make Yuqi a bit tired,
Yeah.
take the edge out,
Good point.
then of course there's a point in trying to keep this second game going. But otherwise, I completely agree with you. This seems really impossible.
Brilliant. A little brush on that final shot from SHI Yuqi, keeping it straight.
This is the one that's coming here. Look at that. He's so good doing that. He is so good doing it.
Well, that's nigh on perfection.
But that's the shot. I said, you know, focus on shots like that where he's not using a lot of energy, but going for the angles. And into those two front corners, there's definitely a gap.
That's gone long as well. far too long. And Yosuke Nakanishi looking very concerned indeed.
They're just waiting for the third game.
Game point opportunities to level this men's singles at 1 game apiece.
And then it's all about whether the statistics are right. Will Momota win the third game?
It's gone long. It's 1 game all. 21-5. The second game to SHI Yuqi.
Yes, it was all set up by a very good start by SHI Yuqi. That's what really did it. Put Momota under pressure from the very beginning.
你要先注意一下自己，有过他肯定对你自己怎么样，看你先打下来，对吧？没错，这边注意提醒你什么呢？相持的时候要自信，要注意。完了呢 ，OK， 都打下压攻的，没有问题。你看前面一样的，我晚清有了，我再给你后场，再来不怕。你稍微他如果没有加速，他这样慢慢打，最多就高球打给你，你不会难受。但关键时候你在打的时候，你往前也后场也想办法要抓他就可以了啊。所以呢，为什么提醒就是相持的时候，我要自信，我有这拍球，他要怕我的。完了以后，我在多拍当中，我要有变数，我要抓你就行了。这前面说的发接发，我就知道我不打。对，你发接发单分区啊，就这个嘛。哎，你放到外角，他停给你。哎，他没有这个这么戳的，对吧？啊，
就是有攻他才会要求才会高，有攻他才会有压力，就是大胆去抓。 啊，咬住这口气，啊，再一个说开局，啊，他后面第二局他这种后面这种状态他会紧起来，可能会先打，所以你前几拍也要紧，自己整个人要顶久。
他感觉你要看压前的时候，开始这里了啊。
20 seconds. 20 seconds.
Morton, I'm not sure if you noticed when SHI Yuqi changed his shirt, he had strapping on his back.
Yeah, but we see that often. It can be precaution. It doesn't necessarily have to mean that he's got a problem as such. But how he played the second game, I don't think that was any problems.
No, exactly. Well, for Kento Momota, not only his winning in 3-game record at stake, his Sudirman Cup and Thomas Cup record at stake, and of course this Sudirman Cup final at stake. No pressure then.
No, nothing at all.
I don't believe this. I don't believe it. What a rally.
So now it's heating up. Good defensive work here by Yuqi.
Thank you.
So it will be interesting to see if Kento Momota is opting for the safe option and just keep playing how he's playing, or he actually is going to go beyond what he normally does and really start pushing pace and attack. Be very interesting to watch.
Long, and there was good pace to that rally.
There is no doubt that what most people in this stadium wants. Really cheering on SHI Yuqi here.
Missed it.
Service over. 3-2.
That's unusual.
Very unusual. And he didn't just miss.
3-0.
He missed by some considerable margin. Oh, the lucky neck court.
4-3.
Wasn't a million miles away from going over.
Thank you.
Yeah, the crowd now, Morgan, you're right, they're really, really getting behind SHI Yuqi.
Yeah, you're sensing it.
Yeah. Yeah, good angle.
I think that line judge might be very, very busy in this third game, having to mop up the whole time.
Thank you.
Don't know what you think, but
Yeah.
well, it's 5-3 and been in, what, 4 times already?
Yeah. Great net shot, short left and simple put away. But the net play there from SHI Yuqi, well, bordering on perfection. Look at that.
Yeah, just go for the centre on the smash. Don't do anything.
Oh, amazing. Well, this is just getting better and better. That cross-court shot from SHI Yuqi having pushed his opponent forehand, then backhand, and then this landed just inside the line. What precision on his shots.
Thank you.
I think they'll need a new shuttle there. He sat on it. 5 straight points. Well, he's challenging. It was called good by the line judge. It's SHI Yuqi's first challenge of the match. Great challenge too. Brilliant.
He's going for it now. He can see the light at the end of the tunnel. There is no doubt. That smash down the line. Look at the face. Says it all.
What can you do against that?
But it's forcing Momota out of his shell. He must do something. He must start to play faster. He must do something. He can't just keep doing what he's doing because this is happening.
And it's now 8 straight points for SHI Yuqi.
He must react to it.
Advantage at the change of ends in this deciding game.
But it is interesting to see that Momota is not really challenging for initiative at the net at all. Every time the drop shot is coming, he is lifting. He must fight for that, and he's got the touch to do it.
Yes, so right. He's got to do something, because if he doesn't, it's Suleiman Cup over. As far as Japan is concerned, they came into this tournament with such high hopes. And I don't think you and I, there's the magnificent trophy, I don't think you and I ever thought that the final between these two nations would be a 3-love win. We're not there yet.
We're not there yet.
But this is sensational.
There's a lot of signs, though.
10 straight points now for SHI Yuqi. Look at the hang time. Brilliant. Well, there hardly seems any resistance from the world champion right now.
He can't find the answers, but he's got to do something. As I say, every time the net shot is coming, he's lifting. He must play the net back, try to get the initiative, go on the attack. He cannot sit back and just look at this.
Well, the run comes to an end, but quite frankly, 11 straight points in a deciding game surely must be decisive. Punishing rally. And Yuqi, a little clenched fist at the end of the longest rally so far. Because he knows that psychologically now for Momota to come back will be desperately difficult.
It was a punishing rally, but from the point of view of SHI Yuqi, it was all worth it.
Missed it.
Better pace from Momota in that rally. But as we've said on a few occasions already, one fears too little too late. But that was definitely better pace. He was controlling it a lot better. He was trying harder.
He was trying to do something different. I don't think he's been lacking effort. I don't think it's been just his meltdown. In fact, I don't think it's been a meltdown at all. I think SHI Yuqi has just raised his level and produced something really special. Yeah.
So this is probably the beginning of a possible great comeback.
That will be one of the greatest comebacks in all of sport. affords himself a little smile. And that's an absolute rarity from SHI Yuqi. He knows that he is just 4 points away from securing the Sudirman Cup for China for a record 11th time. You have to take your hat off to him. He has played so well today.
He has. I still remember in one of the first few days I said I think China's favourite to win it, but I never envisaged it could be 3-0 in the final against Japan. I never ever saw that coming.
No, me neither. In fact, over breakfast, you and I thought it would be 3-2.
Yes.
Go down to the fifth.
I still felt that Japan had the edge in the 2 singles, but possibly would lose the 3 doubles.
We'll take them. Three points from victory. The coaches on the edge of their seats. Defiance by the world champion. But as you were saying, Morgan, surely it's too little too late.
Yeah.
Two tantalizing points. SHI Yuqi from regaining the Sudirman Cup for China. Dramatically beaten in the final 2 years ago, 3-2 by Korea. Now, just 2 points away. Why wasn't he doing that earlier?
And that's what I said earlier. I said, you know, he's got to do something. He must be more proactive. He's got to take initiative. He's got to try to score points. He cannot just sit and wait. And now when he's completely up against the wall, then suddenly we see a different playing style from Momota.
Oh, a moment of magic to bring up championship points. The entire Chinese team on their feet. This trophy beckons to China once more.
Really playing fast.
China win an 11th Sudirman Cup title in their 13th consecutive final. While Chinese teammates rush on to celebrate. The agony and the ecstasy of sport. The two teams, the delight and the disappointment, and the two men. Well, an obvious, bitterly disappointed Kento Momota, but in all honesty, China and the way they performed today, and especially SHI Yuqi, reversing the result of the World Championship final in Nanjing last year, here in Nanning. Yes, the celebrations. Head singles coach Xia Xuanzhe and Badminton China president Zhang Jun also head coach, thrown in the air by their players. Well, it was the 5th time that this event had been staged in China. China never beaten in this event on home soil. Thoroughly deserved champions of that, there is no doubt. It has been a team effort. SHI Yuqi, I think, is going to throw his winning racket to a lucky fan. Oh, and almost loses his balance in doing so. Yeah, there's the lucky fan with the winning racket. But more, a word about SHI Yuqi. He was outstanding today.
He was. The first game kind of went according to what we all expected, and then suddenly that shock start in the second game really changed everything around, and from there on SHI Yuqi just looked so good. It was incredible. And Momota had no answers. We were always expecting and waiting for him to make his move, but it just never ever happened.
No, it certainly didn't. And for Kento Momota, he loses his record of never being beaten in either a Thomas Cup tie or a Sudirman Cup tie. But SHI Yuqi overcome with emotion. 21-11 in the deciding game in a match lasting an hour and 9 minutes. Well, China celebrate once more. They have the most extraordinary record in team competitions. An 11th title at the 16th Sudirman Cup when contesting their 13th consecutive final. That in itself is quite remarkable. For Japan, well, it's a second defeat at the hands of China and the second time that they've lost the final to 3 matches to love, as indeed they lost 4 years ago in Dongguan. Well, Morten, it's been a fabulous week here, and I believe there's so many talking points, isn't there, as we look at the final score of the final of the 16th Sudirman Cup. It all started with the men's doubles, and the reigning world champions beat the Asian champions, Lee Junhui and Liu Chen, beating Hiroyuki Endo and Yuta Watanabe. 21-18, 21-10 in 54 minutes. Then we had an absolute thriller in the women's singles. Akane Yamaguchi, the former world #1, against the former world #2, Chen Yufei. Chen Yufei having to come from a game down because Akane Yamaguchi won the opening game 21-17. But Chen Yufei fought her way back 21-16, 21-17 in a match lasting an hour and 21 minutes. Then the men's singles and the repeat of the World Championship final from a year ago. But here in Nanning, a different result. Because a year ago, Momota won the gold medal. But here, SHI Yuqi is the hero of the day for China, because he secured the 3rd winning point in the best-of-5 match tie in the final here. Losing the opening game 15-21, but in the second he raced to that 10-2 lead, was 11-3 up at the mid-game interval, and from there, in all honesty, it was one-way traffic. 21-5 that second game. And in the decider, well, he went from strength to strength, raced to a 15-4 lead, and from there was only going to be one winner, and that was China and SHI Yuqi. 21-11 in the deciding game in an hour and 9 minutes. Well, there's no doubting China's prowess in this mixed team competition. Every final of this biannual event since they first reached the final in Lausanne in Switzerland in 1995. Only twice since then has China failed to lift the Sudirman Cup. That was in Eindhoven in the Netherlands in 2003, when they were beaten in the final 3-1 by Korea. And of course, the second time was 2 years ago on the Gold Coast, when Korea came from 1-2 down in a spectacular final to beat the then defending champions, China, 3-2. Well, China, Morten, we know, always love these team competitions. They put on a great show this week here in Nanning. And quite frankly, the way you see the Chinese players come together from these team events, it is superb.
It means a lot to China. It means a lot to national pride, I think. And as you say, the players, they really do come together and they work hard. And you can just see it all week, that China, even in the opening matches, they were playing well, they were working hard, and they were sending a very, very strong message, I think, to the rest of the world. We are here and we want to win.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we embark on the prize presentation and the presentation of the Sudirman Cup, I think we need to make mention of the winners of Group 2, the second division, because Canada beat France 3-1, and that's wonderful that we've had Group 2 winners from a continent, not Asia, not Europe, which are the two continents that in the past have dominated proceedings in these mixed world team championships. Well done to Canada.
Absolutely. They played an awesome tournament. We watched them as and when we were here in the stadium. Of course, we saw the scores as well, and they have really played a solid tournament here in Nanning.
And also the winners of Group 3, Sri Lanka, beat Ireland in an absolute thriller, 3-2. And that, of course, that's exciting as well, because new countries winning these up-and-coming divisions, it's good for the spread of badminton globally.
Yeah, it's all about we have to have more nations, we have to have fights between various continents and so on, and it's very important that we have that in the game of badminton.
Absolutely. And Morten, you being a Dane, I have to talk about Denmark as well, because Denmark, who twice have contested the final at the Sudirman Cup, and now have gone for 3 consecutive Sudirman Cup competitions without medaling. Yes. And they did win medals, I think, for the first 9 Sudirman Cup competitions. I know it's a rebuilding process because some of their older players have recently retired, but is it of concern to you that Denmark didn't perform perhaps to the way that you had hoped?
Absolutely. Of course, we always have high hopes of our performance in Denmark, but I must say, as you say, the last 3 times Denmark have not got a medal at the Sudirman Cup. And I fear one of the reasons is that we have paid a lot of attention, perhaps too much attention, to a very small group of players, and we need to enlarge the group and really support the youngsters to come in to the national senior team and bring them forward.
And of course, we probably should also mention Thailand, who for the 3rd time in 4 competitions reached the semi-final stage, bronze medalists. They have done very well as well. They put out the defending champions. Korea, first time defending champions of the Sudirman Cup, have never reached at least the semi-final stage. So that's disappointing for Korea.
Of course it is, but again, it goes back to the very, very good work they do in Thailand, because they are very dominant on the junior rankings, and they are sending a lot of players out, and they have top seed players in all the junior rankings over the last, let's say, the past 5-8 years or so. They have done really well, and it's paying off, and the team, the national team, senior team, is doing really well on the back of that very good work in the junior ranks.
Yeah, fascinating, very interesting. And of course, we've got to talk about Indonesia, who are going to get the other bronze medal here in just a moment, because Indonesia, first ever winners of the Sudirman Cup, the first competition in 1989 in Jakarta in Indonesia, which was so fitting because the whole competition named after Dick Sudirman, a former great Indonesian player, a former vice president of what is now the BWF, the Badminton World Federation, but it was called the International Badminton Federation then, and Indonesia winning against Chinese Taipei, who had been the number 4 seeds in the quarter-final stage. So Indonesia also showing signs of some of their young female players coming through and putting them back onto the world stage and real contenders in these team competitions.
Yeah, it was really touch and go for Indonesia all the way. They fought hard in most of their matches here, but they came through and got to this semi-final. And as you say, they are really bringing in a lot of young players, and all credit to the new management and the new coaching staff of Indonesia to do so.
Well, the players, as you can see, are waiting in the wings. Chen Long there, the Olympic champion. And it was such a strong Chinese team. World champions, past or present, in 4 of their 5 disciplines here in Nanning. And of course, in 2 years' time, the competition will once again be staged here in China, in the city of Suzhou, the ancient city of Suzhou, and that in Jiangsu province, and just next door to Shanghai. Yes. We think we've had good crowds here, and I can tell you, I don't think anybody's moved from the arena. There's still over 9,000 people here waiting for the prize presentation. I think we might get even bigger crowds in 2 years' time. What do you reckon?
Chances are it's a really hugely populated area, so chances are they will have a full stadium.
Well, the public address tells us that the prize presentation and the presentation of the medals is about to get underway. A magnificent Sudirman Cup trophy, 80 centimeters high, made of solid silver, plated with 22-carat gold. The body of the cup in the form of a shuttle, which is surmounted by a replica of the Borobudur temple. Of course, the temple in Indonesia. It is a competition that creates so much interest and so much passion from the teams participating. And the prize presentation of the 16th Sudirman Cup is about to get underway.
Yeah, you always ask me, you know, when we are in situations like this, so what attracted your eye during the week? What did you see? And of course today, China winning 3-0, we never saw that against Japan. I also think that England fought extremely well in the group, beating Denmark 3-2. I don't think we can leave this tournament without talking about the young Korean player, 17 years old, in the women's singles, Ang Se-young, who actually beat world #1 from Chinese Taipei, Tai Su-ying.
Yeah. Well, the bronze medalists at the podium. I think you've actually made a very good point, Morten, about the 17-year-old Korean as the silver medalists come forward, because everybody was talking about Korea missing their top 2 singles players. Son Won-ho having ruptured his Achilles.
Yes.
Sung Ji-hyun injured for this event. Nobody really gave Korea a chance, but they did actually win their group. They beat the seeds Chinese Taipei in the group stage in an absolute thriller, 3-2.
3-2, yes, they did really well.
So here come the champions, China, led out by the Olympic champion, Chen Long.
为世界羽毛球混合团体锦标赛进行的是印度尼西亚队和泰国队。 首先，有请世界羽联副主席韦书托兰为获得季军的印度尼西亚队颁发奖牌。
Now please welcome Rishi Tolan, BWF Vice President and American History, to present the titles of the bronze medalist team in Indonesia.
Congratulations.
Indra Setiawan, the first Indonesian player to receive the bronze medal. It's a 14th medal for Indonesia at the 16th Sudirman Cup, a 7th bronze medal, because as we were saying, they won the first ever Sudirman Cup. 7 finals over the years for the Indonesian team. And the fact that this is a 14th medal and just the 16th Sudirman Cup, that in itself is remarkable. Gracia Poli receives her medal. It was a 7th consecutive Sudirman Cup campaign for her. Sudirman Cup campaign, women's doubles. Fitriani, who played one singles, and the very tall Wijaya.
感谢新闻的嘉宾，接下来有请南宁市市长、组委会主任周主波为印度尼西亚队颁发赛会吉祥物和组委会纪念品镀合工。
Now please welcome Zhou Hongguo, Mayor of Nanning City and Director of BLAC, to present the mascot and souvenir to Zhou.
So if you had to pick an Indonesian player of the tournament?
Kevin Sukamori.
Yeah, I concur. He and Marcus Fernaldi Gideon were outstanding. They played 3 of the 4 matches in the campaign. The only time they didn't play was against Denmark. The Asian Games gold medalist Jonathan Christie receiving his mascot. Fitriani receiving her mascots, and Gloria Emmanuel Wijaya.
接下来有请南宁市委常委、副市长、组委会执行主任何野为印度尼西亚队颁发花环。
Now please welcome He Yi, member of the Standing Committee of CPC and Vice Mayor of Manila. Congratulations to present the gala, the bronze medalist team in Indonesia. Congratulations. Okay. Congratulations.
Mohammed Hassan, Anthony Ginting. times in this campaign. There's your man of the Indonesian team, your player of the Indonesian team.
Yeah, he plays solidly. Really performed well.
Jonathan Christie only played once. That was in the quarterfinal. Lost to CHN.
Can't be too proud of his.
That was his first ever loss to CHN.
I know, but it was a heavy loss on the day. 2 straight games.
So to Thailand, bronze medalists for a third time. First time was 2013 when the event was staged in Kuala Lumpur. They lost in the semi-final stage to Korea and then lost in the final. They were also bronze medalists 2 years ago on the Gold Coast. Once again, they lost to Korea, but of course 2 years ago, Korea went on to lift the Suleiman Cup. Sapsari Tevra Tanachai receiving her medal, as indeed her partner. I think he has to be my player of the Thailand team, Purvaranukro.
Yes, I think so. The mixed doubles were really, really dependable.
Yes,
for Thailand. Thairat Tanachai and Purvaranukro really gave Thailand good, solid starts. And of course, when they played China in the semi-final, they did not manage to win that first one, and that put Thailand in a very tight spot.
Yeah. Kedren, the last of the Thailand players to receive his medal, he played throughout the campaign in the men's doubles with various different partners. Two different partners,
yeah. Pompet and Isrianit.
Stage by finishing second in Group A. Lost to Japan 4-1, but beat Russia 3-2 in a thriller.
It was. I've actually got Vladimir Malkov on my list to mention.
Yeah.
From Russia, because he won his 2 men's singles in the group, beating Nishimoto from Japan, and then in his second match he beat Wang Charon of Thailand.
Yeah.
And you know, you have to take your hats off being number 52 on the world ranking and beating a number 10 and number 18.
Yeah, very good indeed. But I think we have to mention more though about Wang Charon, because he's just a youngster.
Yes.
And for him to be the lead men's singles player that they used in the crucial matches, I know they used other players as well throughout the campaign, but he was used for the knockout stage.
Yes.
And I think that speaks volumes.
It's only very befitting. He's a very good young player coming up, and he's going to shoulder a lot of responsibility for Thailand in the future. So best to educate him as soon as possible.
Yeah. Intanon, the former world champion, and Honghui Chorchuwong, who so dramatically beat Akane Yamaguchi in the group stages. Busanan Mbangarongpan didn't get to play in this campaign. But it's a team effort, it's the practice sessions, it's getting the player who is about to perform in the Thai, getting them ready, helping with that.
It's very much also for the players not chosen to play. It's also very much about accepting the fact that the coaches have not chosen them, and then still to back up those players playing and be happy for that and make sure that the team is having success, whatever.
Yeah, and I think that's, we have seen in today's final with the Japanese squad, the fact that Nozomi Okuhara was the cheerleader when Akane Yamaguchi was playing.
Yeah.
And she must have been disappointed that she wasn't chosen for today's final.
Yeah, but she was giving her best.
Absolutely. Receiving the scarf was this week competing in her 5th Sudirman Cup campaign at the age of 24.
Yes.
Amazing. Women's doubles pair. Kiki Harukan and Prajonjai.
here we've got Pujongja.
That's it. Teira Tanachai. Very proud moment for the entire team, whether they've actually played a match or not. Puang Puapet. Japan, who today contested a second final at the Suleiman Cup. 4 years after they reached their first final in Dongguan. World champion Momota, Hiroyuki Enno. We'll see him anymore in Suleiman Cup campaigns. This was his 5th. Yuta Watanabe, I'm sure we'll see more of him.
Yeah, he's still a young one.
Takeshi Komura, Nishimoto, who played the very first match of the Japanese campaign. Lost out, as you were saying, to Vladimir Nalkov in 2 straight games.
And then we had Sonoda, and here we've got Takahashi.
Nagahara will receive her medal next. Played mixed doubles and women's doubles. Arisa Higashino. Good to see her back after injury and able to play. Yuki Fukushima played 1 doubles. Former world champion Nozomi Okuhara. Sayaka Hirota, former world #1 doubles player, and their Olympic champion in the women's doubles. Mizaki Matsutomo, and the player who produced such a wonderful women's singles encounter today, Akane Yamaguchi. And finally, Matsumoto. So as the mascots are presented to the Japanese team, this is a difficult one I'm going to ask you here, Morten, because you're player of the Japanese team's campaign.
I thought you would ask me that one, and I actually been thinking, and in all honesty, it's such a good team.
Yes.
With so many good players on it, that it will be tough to single anyone out, because they have fought hard, they come through, They've done the very best they can, and in all honesty, I don't think you can single one out and say that player was the best in the team.
No, and they had the luxury of being able to rest some players, whether it was in the men's singles, women's singles. They used 3 different pairs in the women's doubles, 2 different pairs in the men's doubles, 2 different pairs in the mixed doubles.
Exactly.
So it really was a shared effort.
It was a team effort. But in a way, you know, of course, a little bit on the humoristic side, it will keep Podium working harder.
Yeah.
In the sense that he still hasn't won this one.
Yeah.
With Japan having won the Yuqi Cup and, of course, the Thomas Cup.
Yeah.
So that will keep him on his toes.
Yeah, but isn't that a wonderful situation for World Badminton? I know the final today was 3-love, but it doesn't give any indication of just how good this tie was, this final tie.
No, it didn't. It was so well poised, and as we discussed in the morning over breakfast, it could easily have gone to 5 matches and then been hanging on the last one.
Yeah.
Vice President and Secretary General of Chinese Badminton Association to present the gala with the silver medalist team, Japan.
Despite their loss, big smiles from all of them.
All of them. But I will say, there is a small one at the end who is not so happy. And you can see it. Before, I think she was really close to tears when she received her silver medal. And here she is, Akane Yamaguchi.
，Marketing and Services of Asia Pacific Individualist
China climb to the top of the podium at the Suleiman Cup competition. Champions once more. China today, who were contesting their 13th consecutive final at the Suleiman Cup competition. Only the 16th staging of this competition. So 13 consecutive is quite remarkable. Former Olympic men's singles champion and president of the BWF, Paul Eric Hoyer, presenting the medals to the Chinese team. Chen, who was due to play the 4th match of this final. And should it have gone the full distance, Wang Yaxiong was due to play mixed doubles. She played the 5th and final match 2 years ago on the Gold Coast. Lin Wei and Jia Yifan. The man of the moments. And listen to the fans. A special cheer. SHI Yuqi. Chen Shiwei remains undefeated in the mixed doubles throughout this campaign. Zhao Haodong and Han Chengkai played against India. And the tall man who played so well today, Liu Chen, and the Olympic champion, Chen Wang, received his gold medal.
said that Park Ji-won, the head coach of the Japanese team, has got to keep him on his toes. But when you look at the strength across the 5 disciplines of the Chinese team and the youngsters coming up, they've got to be doing something right with their development system.
Yes, we thought for a while that the Chinese team was kind of dipping in form, but they are definitely back, and they are back at the right time, because we are in a situation where we have the Olympic qualification going, and then of course we have Tokyo 2020 coming up and all that. So yes, they have done well.
Yeah, very well indeed. And once again, the big cheer for SHI Yuqi, as indeed there was for Chen Yufei. Tallest man in the team, his men's doubles partner, Liu Chen, selected for 4 matches. 4 matches.
Now please welcome Lei Jun, Director General of the Table Tennis and Badminton Administrative Center of the General Administration of Sports of China, to present the garland of the gold medalist team of China.
哎呦，恭喜啊！谢谢，真牛！
哇，有点硬，有点硬。
Wang Dongping, who played mixed doubles in the second of the group matches against India and her partner Wang Yilu. Won that match in 28 minutes against Chopra and already. Yeah, listen to the fans as Chen Yunfei
put critics, away in the sense that in discussing whether Chen Yunfei was, ready and had what it took to withstand the pressure and all that. I don't think we're going to talk about that anymore. No. I think she did really well here.
Yeah, she's proved a point.
She has. She's come of age.
Trophy in the world of sport and the ultimate in the world of badminton for mixed team championships. receive the Sudirman Cup. What a moment for the host country.
Thank you, everyone. Congratulations.
The cup will get passed down the line, and they need to be careful because that must be jolly heavy. Solid silver. A magnificent trophy.
They've decided not to go the full length.
Raise the flag of the winning team and play the national anthem of the People's Republic of China. Please take your seat.
现在，请颁奖嘉宾和获奖队合理留念。
Please take this opportunity to take a photo with the winning 2019.
All medals. Indonesia, Thailand, Japan, and the gold medalists. China pose for the photographers with the presentation party and the dignitaries here in Nanning. The replica of the Borobudur temple. Before the celebrations really get underway for the Chinese team, I think that there will be a flag ceremony to hand over the reins to the next hosts of the Sudirman Cup, to be staged in 2 years' time in 2021.
And now, the ceremony of the handover flagging.
让我们以热烈的掌声欢迎南宁市代表、南宁市市长、组委会主任周洪波。
Now please welcome Zhou Hongbo, Mayor of Nanning City.
世纪语言代表、世纪语言主席保罗·埃里克·霍耶先生。
Mr. Paul Eric William, BWF President.
中国旅居代表、中国旅游。
So the Sudirman Cup flag will be handed over from the Mayor of Nanning City,
下一届主办主事代表、苏州市副市长王艳。
passed via the BWF President Paul Eric Hoyer to the hosts for the 2021 edition.
下面让我们以热烈掌声迎接瑞奇部长。
The Mayor of Nanning waves goodbye BWF Sudirman Cup flag as Paul Eric Hoyer hands the flag on to Zhang Jun. And now the new hosts, the city of Suzhou, ancient city in Jiangsu province, just west of Shanghai, famed for its canals, stone bridges and wonderful gardens. Suzhou, also the birthplace of
水墨江南，当代中国重要的创新高地。
Jiangsu province, the hosts of this competition in 2 years' time. So the celebrations, I'm sure, will last long into the evening here in Nanning, because the hosts, China, have regained the Sudirman Cup and hold the status of World Mixed Team Champions for a record length of time. So we leave the teams to enjoy the celebrations and enjoy the moment. We've had a fantastic week here in Nanning. It really has been some brilliant badminton. So from all of us here in Nanning, from Morten Frost, myself, Jill Clark, and all of the team, until the next time, bye-bye.